Hello, everybody. Betsy Walker here. So glad to see you on this Wednesday, a little bit earlier today. May have to adjust from time to time for my schedule. I have an important meeting, and I'll tell you a little bit about that coming up here. And I'm just going to switch to my notes here. Today, I am covering the third element to having optimal health and helping you perform at your peak. Now, all of these are pretty overview type things that I like to cover a little bit deeper in my my challenges and my retreats. So stay tuned for that because it's in the works. I'm planning the next 7-day retreat, which in the fall was the 5-day challenge. So it's going to be a little bit different format, but I'm very excited about the things that I'll be bringing to you. So first of all, we talked the last couple of weeks about, two elements that, are very important in terms of our health. And, managing stress was one of them and getting some good sleep. Obviously, stress creates cortisol, which causes a lot of health problems, weight gain, even diabetes, things like that. And heart, just your heart needs a rest, right? It doesn't need to be pumped up with cortisol all the time. So I did that. If you want to go back and check that video out, it's in the group. And then the Optimized Mind and Body for those of you who are watching on YouTube or are on my page. And then we talked a little bit about clean eating and maintaining optimal fuel for your brain and body. And we talked about the fact that your brain uses a tremendous amount of fuel. And if we don't take care of that, then we get brain fog and we're just not as efficient in terms of what our function is. So, today I'm really excited to be talking about movement because that is an area of my expertise. Obviously, I've been a Pilates teacher for many years, and I've incorporated a lot of other things too, Coraline, OOV, neurocentric movement, all sorts of things into my practice. So I love to share about movement and just how transforming it can be. So I get a lot of questions about, what is the right movement for my body at the stage I'm in, if I'm, getting a little bit into my midlife and I'm starting to feel the aches and pains, or if maybe I've had an injury and I need to come back from it, or maybe I'm pregnant or I just had a baby. All these different things questions come, and so there is an ebb and flow of how we exercise and how we move our bodies. And I think a lot of times we have in our head that we have to do a certain thing. And so we force ourselves into it and we get ourselves hurt or we burn out or, it's just not any fun anymore, right? So that's what I want to address today is, first of all, what is the best thing for me and my body where I'm at? And obviously I have to be very general and kind of give you some guidelines because I'm not working with you directly, but maybe some of these things will help you kind of assess where you're at and what you might need. And then the other thing is just touching on the fact that sometimes we can do more harm to our body than good with exercise. And that's not to say you shouldn't exercise, but we do actually need to think about that. So how do you know what is good for your body? Well, first of all, we need to listen to our body. All right. A lot of times we just go and we say, we're going to burn these calories, or we're going to do this hour workout or this half-hour workout, or we need to strengthen, so we're going to lift weights, but we don't actually tune in to what's going on in our bodies because we have this goal, right? We're just going for our goal. So one thing I love to teach people is how to tune into their bodies, educating them about their bodies. What does it feel like when you're moving this way or that way, or when you're, doing this great amount of physical exercise and raising your heart rate and then lowering it and raising it, what actually happens, and really being in tune to that. So that's part of the process, is learning to listen to your body, not just listening, but learning. And sometimes it takes some doing, because we have to slow down and we have to pay attention. Sometimes you really need a coach or a teacher, so it's important to have feedback for that. And I want everybody to realize that pain is the body's tool for training. Okay. So if you have pain, it's a way, it's basically getting you to change your behavior. It's behavior change. So what we need to do is, if we have pain or discomfort, we need to use that as information. All right. Just consider it information, not, oh, I need to stop. Okay, what is this telling me about my body? And sometimes it can mean that, yeah, you're hurting something, but sometimes it can mean that something else is going on. So it's really important to have a open mind about pain. For example, lower back pain doesn't necessarily mean that you have a problem in your lower back or your spine. Okay, now it very well could be, but doesn't mean that. So there's, a number of reasons, or it could be a combination of things. So it could be proper lack of movement, or improper postural alignment. Even poor breathing can cause back pain. So, for me, I had an experience just recently, about a month ago, maybe, where I was in a tremendous amount of pain. I had actually tried to use a Theragun to work out some tight muscles, and it actually caused things to be tighter because I had a reaction, a tightening of my muscles. And I discovered that my problem was not my back, but it was a balance of my muscles that were firing. So I had pain in my lower right side, and it was in the back and some in the front. And I was like, what's going on? This, feels like my back is, it's spasming. Well, it turns out that on the other side, my hip flexors were grabbing, and it was causing my pelvis to rotate. And then so that in my body, my brain's trying to write that, in terms of, so that I'm equal on both sides. And so it counteracts with even more cramping on the other side. So what happened was I had to release the muscles in the front on the left, so that the back stopped feeling like it was trying to counter all of that. So that's just an example of what can happen. And because I'm aware of my body, and I do a little bit of sleuthing, I call it, I investigate. I was able to figure that out on my own, and really work that out. And luckily I had the help of a friend who's a massage therapist, who also did some work on me. So that is, that's what it's all about. Just being in tune with your body and learning to listen to your body, so you can be your own detective. So that's one thing I love to teach and coach on. All right. The other thing is, when you identify the kind of movement practice that's good for your body, all sorts of things happen, right? Your life is just like, it's easier, right? You have more energy, you have more motivation, you don't have the cravings. Maybe you have some less weight gain. But then it could be the opposite. So if you're like forcing yourself into something, you actually, like I said, increase cortisol, and it backfires on you. So how do you find your optimal kind of movement practice that's good for your body? Well, there's lots of ways to do it. You can go to get some physio testing. You can go to, a specialist and have, hook up with, breathing devices, and take blood samples, and, and just all sorts of things. You can do that if you want to, and try and figure out what your body likes. Or you can do what I call muscle testing. You can ask your body. That's a whole nother topic for another day. So you can look that up if you want. Google muscle testing. It's based in kinesiology, basically asking your body. You can track your workouts and take your vitals. You can see how your body reacts, and just be really into your body, journal, those kind of things. And what I'm really excited about, that I'm going to be bringing to you all, hopefully in the near future, some information about DNA testing. So DNA testing is really cool because it basically, looks at your specific needs of your body. And it gives you some really good information, not only on exercise, but also on diet and the kind of things that are perfect for your body in order to be your healthiest. So stay tuned for that, because DNA testing is very powerful, and it's very readily available now. The other thing we need to make sure is that we maintain our motivation to keep our movement practices up. Because if we just do it for a while, we don't really know, right? We don't know whether it's going to help us long term or not. And so some of the things that I would like to just, bring up is the importance of these motivation things. So, don't discount the emotional component of motivation, because there's usually a reason, because our brain is always wanting us to be safe, right? I've talked a lot about that with my neurocentric training, is how can I keep this body safe? And so if there's some emotional component to exercising, some memory that, you had a really hard time, and maybe you're gasping for air, and you're anxious, or maybe, there was just a bad memory associated with a certain kind of exercise, and you're just like, I just don't want to do that. I don't have the motivation. Or maybe you were in an accident, and, you had a ski accident or a bike accident or something, and it's like you just can't get yourself to get back to it. So those are just some examples. I'm sure there's others. So don't discount that. And I love to do emotional release work for that. So that's a component of my coaching. And also I hope to have a component of that in my retreat coming up. Also, you want to ask yourself, what are the inner messages and conversations you're having with yourself? So this is kind of a mindset piece in terms of what are you telling yourself? And it's really important to kind of be present for that, obviously, so that you can actually realize, oh yeah, I'm telling myself that I'm lazy, or I'm telling myself that I'm overweight, or I'm telling myself that I can't do that. So that is a big component of it as well. Okay, so look at that and change it, because it's not helping you, right? The other thing is get creative and vary your workouts to keep it fun. So when I was a ski racer, I would do soccer, I did karate, I did gymnastics, I did cycling, I did hiking, I did a lot of high intensity training, aerobics, a lot of stretching, weights. So I did a lot of different things to support my sport. And I think it's really important that you consider yourself an athlete, even if you aren't an athlete, and say, okay, what does my body need? How do I balance it out? How can I keep it fresh? Right. So one day you might do a yoga workout. The next day you might do HIIT, Pilates workout, or the next day you might lift weights. So, it just depends on, what your body needs. And like I said, checking in with that from the very beginning. The other thing is you want to engage your brain, because number one, your brain is using a ton of energy, right? As I said, so if you use your brain, you're going to be burning more calories. And the brain likes novelty. So it likes new things. So, instead of just going through the moves, think about, okay, so if I'm moving my arm out here and I'm moving my head and my eyes, what's happening? I'm having some, function with my eyes and my vestibular system. And what happens if I do that a lot? Do I feel stronger on that side? Just really kind of think about what you're doing. And that is the basis of the neurocentric movement that I do. And it's super valuable and really important to keep us healthy, no matter where you are. If you're a high-end athlete or you're just somebody wanting to get back into shape, it doesn't matter. It's so important to be using your brain, being curious, and that kind of thing. And then also take note of what you crave and need in terms of a social element. A lot of people like to be around other people. And obviously that's been very hard with us during COVID. But even so, you could meet with friends over Zoom and play a workout from YouTube and do it together. That motivation of you doing it together and just talking about it is wonderful. So I encourage you to do that. I do 2 group classes a week with OOV. And if you want to know more about OOV, I have a video on YouTube that shows what OOV is. It's fabulous because we meet and we talk and we work out together, and then it's a connecting point for everybody. Now, and as we get out of COVID, if you need that social element, I really encourage you to hook up with a buddy and do some workouts together. So the last thing I just want to say is it's important that you address any pain or limitation with a qualified expert or a teacher, or even if you need to, a physical therapist, to make sure that you create a plan for you. So if you have an injury, a past injury, or something that's nagging at you, it's important to address it, because it couldn't be, over time, the compensation that you have because of it could actually cause more problems. So we see that a lot in people coming in to work in the Pilates world is, something's bothering them, but we have a lot of other things to unwind and fix because they've let it go too long and now they're hurt. So I encourage you to address things as they come up, get information, and like I said, be in your body so that you know how to do things safely. So for example, I recently saw somebody who was doing a lot of cycling and, had a few accidents and but very strong and not having a lot of pain, but starting to feel some, pain in areas after workouts, and also just worrying about, whether they could go further and with their sport or if they were hurting themselves. So when we look at it, it was really all about some things that they were doing to compensate for injuries that they had. So it's super important for them that we actually addressed it, because down the road, I could see that there were back problems in the future. And so we don't want that. And I'm glad that this person came in and addressed it so that we can avoid those kind of things. Let's see. What else do I have you? Oh, I wanted to tell you that I just, obviously I love using Pilates as a basis for keeping my body aligned and strong. And I teach my students and my clients the basic principles from the Pilates system so that whatever choice they have for exercise, whether it's skiing, biking, tennis, rowing, hiking, whatever, pickleball, even, whatever people are into these days, that even if they're a high-end athlete, that they actually operate in a more aligned and structurally safe way, so they can operate optimally in whatever they choose to do. So it's really a basis of movement and understanding that you get through that system. It's really important that exercise and movement is helpful, and that we need to do it, but it's important that we choose wisely. So hopefully this was really helpful for you, and that you had some ahas, and that you stay tuned as I bring out more information. Get involved. Definitely get involved in my free stuff, my retreat that's coming up that I'll be announcing, because I want people to just be able to move forward and stay active and enjoy their life. And if they've fallen back, get back into it. So if you have any specific questions for me, please reach out, message me, in Messenger. It's Betsy Blanford Walker. And, I'm always will give you 10 minutes of my time to help out. It's not a sales call, and it's not a coaching call either. It's just letting me listen to what you're doing, giving you a little feedback, on what you're currently doing, and seeing if you can tweak it. It doesn't hurt anything. So I'm happy to help. So reach out to me, and I'd love to help you. Also, if you have any suggestions of things that you'd like to hear about and specific things in the group, definitely, give me a message, and I'll look into it and make sure that I can cover that for you. So I hope you're all doing well. You're staying active, even in these crazy times we're in. And I look forward to seeing you next week. And I'll be talking about the fourth element of optimal performance. It's all about flushing toxins. Yeah. So this is a big deal because we have toxins all around us, and they actually do really affect our health and our energy, and can really kind of get you off track when you don't even know it. It's kind of like a silent thing. So I look forward to talking with you about that next week, and we'll see you in the meantime in the group. I hope that some of the things I'm posting are helpful for you. Have a great day, everybody.